This video will change your view of Hedera. I have made multiple videos on Hedera, and in almost every single video, there are comments calling Hedera a ghost chain, saying that it's a crap coin, and all sorts of negative comments, especially regarding the token itself. And I don't think that's fair because people don't see what's actually happening behind the scenes. They just see the price, that is in front of them, what's causing that price, what's actually happening behind it. They don't see that. And that's why I'm making this video to help you understand what's actually happening. And it's all for you guys who are holding, H bar. You're probably frustrated with what's happening. You're probably frustrated or disappointed, or you're losing hope about Hedera as a whole. This video will absolutely change your mindset. So make sure that you watch till the end. Now, first of all, let me point out the hypocrisy that we have. When talking about crypto, blockchain, forecasting what may happen in the next 5 years or 10 years, you have heard almost everyone say adoption. We're seeing more adoption from institutions, other institutions and enterprises start using blockchain technology, start using cryptocurrency for, whatever that they're doing. So whenever we talk about forecasting, we talk about adoption. And adoption isn't easy. We have one platform. We have one, I wouldn't say a blockchain, Hedera isn't a blockchain, but let's, for the sake of the video, let's say it's a blockchain. When we have a blockchain, when we have a network, a public network that is offering that adoption, and that adoption is actually happening, what we do, we trash it, we trash talk it. We call it a crap coin. We call it a ghost chain just because it doesn't fit the standard definition that we have. And that's what I'm going to point it out in front of you guys. So usually why people are calling Hedera a ghost chain is because of the low, TVL, the lack of DeFi activity when we compare it to other layer one blockchains. Now, first of all, let me point out Hedera is not a blockchain, so comparing it to other blockchains, it itself is wrong, but we have to have some comparison. So let's stick with it. If you take a look at Avalanche, it has a TVL of 1.27 billion. Solana has 22 billion. Binance Smart Chain has 10 billion. And when we compare it to Hedera, it has 65.36 million, which of course is, it's a very low valuation, very low total value locked, which it does not, give a good sign. But here's the difference. Look at why Hedera was made, what it's made for. These blockchains that we have, they uses somewhat of a similar technology. They are blockchains. Hedera is not a blockchain. Hedera is a DAG, directed acyclic graph. Within that, it uses the hash graph technology. So all of these blockchains and Hedera itself, they are a distributed ledger. But these, Avalanche, Solana, and Binance Smart Chain, they are blockchains. Hedera is DAG. It uses the hash graph technology, which is completely different. Although it still is EVM compatible, it still uses the Solidity, language, but it's made for enterprise and institutional use, which actually has been happening for some time, and we haven't even focused on it. This, I believe, is the only blockchain that institutions and enterprises are actually using, and they've been using it for years. We just didn't know about it back then. And I have noted down all these places where it has been used and we didn't know about it. So all these that we have, these are major corporations, major companies, enterprises that have used and still use Hedera for whatever that they're doing. So we have Avery, Denson, I think they're in logistics. They are using Hedera technology for product tracking and authentication. They're logging billions of items on the ledger to ensure supply chain data integrity and fight counterfeits. We have Shinhan Bank and Standard Bank. So this is the financial use for Hedera. And then we have real world tokenization by HSBC, and this is the Aberdeen Standard Investments, who are the members of the Hedera Council. We have a different governance model there, but we're going to talk about that very shortly. And then we have uses in the environmental, social, and governance. The open source Guardian platform built on the Hedera is used by various organizations, including the Hedera Foundation, to issue, track, and audit carbon credits and other environmental data transparency. It's being used in the public health, by the NHS, National Health Service of UK, which use Hedera's base technology from everywhere to log and monitor the temperature of critically vaccines shipments to ensure their viability. It was used in the COVID-19 pandemic. And if we talk about the governance model, which is different from the other blockchains, here we have this governance council that decides on what happens next, and we have 39 council members in it that decides it. And within those, we have Google, we have IBM, we have Boeing, we have Dell, and we have others, corporations and enterprises like these in the governance council of Hedera, which is a significant form of adoption. So I don't think that you can find this sort of adoption anywhere else. This is what we have been asking for. We have been asking that we don't just want blockchain and cryptocurrency, to, be filled with speculation. We want these cryptocurrencies to actually have value. We want this technology to have value. And that is what we are happening. But the problem is, what Hedera is doing is it's built for enterprise use. It's like you have built a really big road, but it's meant for airplanes to land. It's the airstrip. Yes, you can drive motor cars on it, but it's meant for the airplanes. And of course, it's going to have less traffic. I think it's given at this point. When you have built something for enterprise use and not for normal everyday use, you are going to have less traffic. And that is what we're facing. When people talk about DeFi, they're comparing the DeFi of Hedera with the other chains, which are created for normal and ordinary use. Hedera is not meant for that. It's not developed, for that. So even though you can have motor cars on an airstrip, but why would you? If you can just easily drive it on roads, you would drive it on the roads and not on the airstrip. Airstrip is made for big planes to land, to take off, and that's actually what's happening. But we're using the standard definition that we have, that you have less traffic, you have more traffic on roads, you have less traffic on the airstrip. We're using standard definition to call Hedera a ghost chain. That absolutely is unfair. And that mindset, it needs to change. And of course, this video in itself is an attempt for that. Now, why is it that, there's, I do agree that it's meant for enterprise use, and it's, we do have examples, plenty of examples, but given the time period, we don't have a lot of examples, and the point there is, when enterprises are going to start using Hedera, they're not just going to, start using it instantly in 1 day or 2 day. They have to hire developers that understand the legacy system, and also the I wouldn't say the blockchain system, but the hashgraph technology, the DAG technology, and the Solidity language, all of that. Then they're able to come up with a system that Hedera can be in use for that enterprises. And usually that is a long and tiresome process. Large organizations often require lengthy pilot phases, compliance audits, and customization before full deployment. So it can take time for that to happen. It's not like you're just developing a D app, which you can do, I think, given with all the, the no code softwares that we have at this point. You can develop it maybe in a week and you launch it. At this point, I think you can do that in a single day. But you're not developing a simple D app here. That's the whole thing. Solana has this influx of meme coins. Whenever there's a meme coin rally, it has influx of all these D apps, all these meme coins. You don't have that in Hedera. It's not meant for that. So that's the whole point here. These adoptions that we're talking here, they take time, but this is what we asked for. We asked for adoption. Hedera is doing it. It has been doing it. It still is doing it. If you just follow them on Twitter, you'll see what they're doing. And if we're calling it a ghost chain, if we're calling the token a crap coin because it has dropped, it's not just that it has dropped. If you take a look at other layer 1 tokens, they all have dropped. Even those that have billions in total value locked, even they have dropped. Their DeFi is absolutely packed. But regardless of that, they have dropped. So it's not just that Hedera has dropped. All of these layer 1 tokens, they have dropped. We have Bitcoin that has dropped. And if you take a look at the price action, which we are going to evaluate here, if you take a look at the price action, you will actually see the similarity that we have in the price of Bitcoin, in the price of Hedera. And even though the duration in this time chart is less, but we can still see a lot of similarities. So you can see that, Bitcoin dropped here, which was 20th December from here to here. And you can see the same thing in Hedera. So you can see the pattern between the price of Bitcoin and the price of Hedera every single time. Like here, your Bitcoin went up, you experience the same thing right here. It dropped, you can see the same thing right here. So it's the price of Bitcoin that is leading the charge, that is impacting the price of Hedera. It's not the fundamentals, the technology that of Hedera that is broken, or the lack of DeFi activity, or the lack of adoption. If anything, I think you may have more adoption, in terms of, let's say, a normal company is using this blockchain, but you have enterprises using Hedera who are using it for logging in billions of products. That's, even though it's considered as one adoption, but you take a look at what's, the scale of that adoption in itself, and you'll see the actual story. If you take a look at the price action of Hedera, which again is being impacted heavily by Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up, when Bitcoin reclaims its previous levels, if it goes back to its all-time high, we can definitely see Hedera go back to its all-time high. Maybe not all-time high, but it will definitely go back to at least 0.3, which will be a 3x from now. I'm pretty sure that is going to happen. All of this, lack of DeFi activity, or the, low adoption, I don't think that's true for Hedera, but let's just, for the sake of the video, let's believe that it is. It doesn't have any impact. The EDF inflows, they dried up, but again, they don't have any impact, because if they had, XRP is experiencing inflows for the past all the days that the spot XRP ETF has been launched. It has I think, net inflows of more than $1 billion, actually $1.25 billion. But did they impact the price of XRP? No, the price still fell. It's following what the Bitcoin is doing. So all of these things have no impact on the price, especially in the current market that we are in. Now, talking about the recent price action that we have, I'm using very basic indicators. I'm using simple moving averages of it's 50 days and 100 days, and we can definitely see the pattern that we have. We were in a downtrend right here. It was creating lower highs and lower lows right here. And afterwards, this was right after the BOJ rate hike, after the market recovered, like the entire market, we started, witnessing this sideways market, and we're still in a sideways market. We're not in a downtrend anymore, which is good, because previously we were in a downtrend. Now we're not in a downtrend anymore, but we're still not in an uptrend. So we still have to see whether we have a breakout or we have a breakdown here. If we take a look at the RSI, it did peak here yesterday, which was about just very close to 70, but the price dropped instantly. So it's now back to almost 50 to 60, which is, average. So it's not close to oversold, it's not close to overbought. So using the RSI indicator, we are unable to make any predictions whether the price is going to go up from here or down, because the token is neither oversold or overbought. If we take a look at we had this crossover right here, and the price at that point was trading below the 50-day and 100-day moving averages. And then we had a breakout here. It went up, came back to test the support, and before it was acting as resistance, but now this range, the region between the 50-day and 100-day moving average, it has tested it for support. So we have this apparent support right here, which means that we may possibly see a breakout of price right here in this region. But given the market conditions, given the price of Bitcoin, I think we're likely to move into it's likely that we continue in a sideways market for now, and wait for more signals to pop up to indicate whether the price is going to drop below this or higher from here. But there's not much to analyze here. We're in a sideways market. It can either go up or down, but for the time being, the level that we have, that is about 11 cents, it is holding strong for a few days now, actually. So that is a pretty good sign. But this is, I think, the whole purpose of this video. I hate that people call Hedera ghost chain or call the token a crap coin, because all the market is dropping. This is the same coin that made people a lot of money, that did 8x recently, I think a year back. This is the same coin. Now we have much more news. We have CME Group announced the price indices for HBAR. We have spot ETF for HBAR. We have more adoption, more institutions that are using it and are planning to use Hedera. So we have much more positive development now. It's just that the market conditions are holding the token down. One thing that we have learned that these ETF inflows, these news, they're usually, especially these news, they're used as exit liquidity in the current market conditions that we are currently in. They're used, especially in a downtrend. If there's any such news, it's not going to, increase the price. It will be used as exit liquidity. So it's the market that is holding H bar down, and it's not the adoption. It's not the fundamentals. It's not the total value locked. It's not the DeFi activity that is holding the value of H bar down. It's just the market. So I would suggest that you at least don't do this. This is the only, I would say, DAG or hash graph or a distributed ledger or public network that we have that is actively being used by enterprises, by corporations, who are actually getting the feel of what the crypto technology, the blockchain or the DAG technology is. How can it be beneficial? How can it be used? So let's not be hypocrite about this. We want adoption. Hedera is giving that. And just because the market is putting the price down does not mean that we should trash the coin or call it a trash coin. But yeah, that's my opinion on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video shortly. So stay tuned.